A spotlight, Sheila?
I will do that, yes. Okay. So, welcome to our webinar on marketing your club, which I know is a topic that I think would be applicable to any Toastmaster. Any Toastmaster who's part of any club, I'm sure will get great information from our webinar tonight. A couple of just housekeeping notes before we get started. As you can see, the session will be recorded and we will share it on our District 45 YouTube resource library. And Sheila has graciously offered to share all of her source materials with us. So if anyone would like to get any of those source materials, please leave your email in the chat. I will collect those and make sure you get all those materials from Sheila after the presentation. As well, she has asked that if you do have any questions, add them to the chat and I will keep them there. She'll have a chance to look at them or I'll share them with her when she asks for questions during the presentation. So Sheila has been active in Toastmasters since 1974. She was one of the first female Toastmaster members in New York State. She is past president of White Mountain Toastmasters in Plymouth, New Hampshire, and has served in many offices in clubs in 3 states. She has led many youth leadership programs, helped with speechcraft programs, co-led a Toastmasters club in MCI Farmingham, which is the only women's prison in Massachusetts, and chaired numerous club and area events. Sheila credits much of her success in life to her Toastmasters training and the support of her Toastmasters colleagues and friends. She is a Toastmaster lifer because it is so much fun to share in growth and success of new members. Toastmasters has been a lifeline for her through many challenges. It works if you work it. So without further ado, please help me welcome Sheila Oranch.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I am honored and pleased to be here. I'm going to be talking about marketing your club. This is a very large topic. Marketing is a broad term, thank you, Kat, that includes everything from advertising to public relations. Before you create a marketing and communication program for your club, any nonprofit or business, it's important to know the variety of channels. And think of each channel as a color in our marketing rainbow. I will share this now. Can you see all those colors? Don't hurt your eyes trying to read the words. You can all have this as a page. The red is advertising, which is the most expensive part of this plan. Then there are agents and collateral material, handouts, books, prints, brochures, and cards. Then directories down in yellow, membership listing, associations, banners on websites. You're still paying money. We want to avoid that. Then you get to chambers of commerce and associations in your industry, charity events, shopping, errands, anywhere you go. You can be networking. All kinds of social events. That's green. It may cost money, but it doesn't cost as much money as the others. Coming down to blue are the things that you might not have thought about. Your email signature. When you send out Toastmasters email, does the signature in your email promote you, your club, your district, or your event effectively? That's free. Your club newsletter. Even if you don't have a fancy newsletter, you can still send out a recap of the meeting to your membership, and that can serve as a newsletter. And always put the important things in the notes of the meeting if you're using Free Toast as your platform. Then you can go back and reference who won what and who did what. Always reconcile your agenda. Then we get into the violet, the high vibration part. And that's the things that don't cost you money. That you might be donating a raffle donation for a name badge, for a membership in your club, just waiving your club dues. You may be going to a community event or an award, or better yet, having an event in your club that gives someone an award. You know, the Golden Gavel Award isn't just given to Toastmasters. You can choose someone in your community and tell them they have been chosen as the award recipient for your club's honor of Speaker of the Year from outside of Toastmasters. Whatever fame they have, you get to share it, and they get to share your fame. You can put an industry or product focus into a news release that you can talk about how effective Toastmasters is helping people in the hospitality industry or in the sales occupation or any industry that you want. You can do an infomercial as we are doing here, because each of these webinars should be an infomercial for Toastmasters. It's kind of free. It's our time and energy. You can give expert advice. Write articles for your Chamber of Commerce, for your local newspapers that are standard Toastmasters advice, just personalized for your community. Every paper needs content. They're desperate for it. If you can attach a good picture, they will publish it even more. Then the news release. I have to tell you, we had friends come over to visit last evening, and one of them was saying to me, "You are so famous. You're in the paper all the time. I see you online all the time. Toastmasters must really be important." Well, I hope so. I'm not, but Toastmasters is. Then you've got events, of course. When you send out an announcement about your event, I will talk a little bit later about how to connect that through all the different layers of social media. That promotes your club and whoever is being featured as a speaker at that meeting. And then stories. I have to say, stories are one of my favorite things. Oop, stop sharing. There. Because everyone loves stories. Anything you can do that puts out a story of a member in your club, of course, who consents and who cooperates with the story, talking about why they came to Toastmasters, what their accomplishments have been, and quoting their testimonial about what this has meant to them. This is good stuff. All of the ways that you can promote your club are going to make a difference. But the best is publicity where someone else publishes a story about your club or about a member in your club. They wrote it. They're impartial. You're not in control of what they're saying. You're not paying them. Everything they say is going to have more credibility. Just like when you have someone else introduce you for a speech, you don't have to say all the good things about yourself. Someone else is saying it. That is absolutely the pot of gold as far as I'm concerned. We're going to now move through what I'm sharing as the 5 W's. Some of these, you know, is the rules of journalism. It's who, what, where, when, why, and how. But I want to stick with the 5 W's for now. We'll get to the how later. There's a lot to do. I'm pretty interested in why clubs need more members. Why do you think clubs need more members? Not just because Toastmasters International will give you a ribbon or put you in contention for distinguished club awards, but because approximately 40% of your members are going to be leaving you every year. Why would you say? Aren't we doing a good job? Yes, because you are doing a good job. People who come to a Toastmasters club because they have a specific goal, they want to get a job, they want to learn to run meetings at work, they want to be more comfortable in social situations, they don't understand how to do networking, they're going to have to give a toast at somebody's wedding, they have to do a eulogy. The list goes on. They come to Toastmasters with a specific goal. And how long do you think it takes them to develop those skills and gain that confidence? We've seen this miracle happen over and over again in our clubs. 6 months to 2 years. That's the span. Some people were already good speakers. They just weren't confident. They learned the tools and the techniques in Toastmasters, and they are on their way. It doesn't take very long. Other people have more hesitation or more handicaps, challenges that they need to overcome. I shouldn't say handicaps because everybody can do this. They just don't know it yet. So they work longer. It takes them a while longer. So somewhere between 6 months and 2 years, you're going to lose that person who had a specific goal. Of course, the other 60% are going to be we who need way more help than that. I'm never going to be done. I'm still not perfect. I won't be perfect until they're giving my eulogy afterwards. These people stay on much longer unless they get that new job. They take a college course. They get a new relationship. They move out of the area. Then they may go to a different Toastmasters club. And they may come back later. So knowing that, you're going to probably lose about 40% of your members. You need to replace them and double them if you want your club to grow. If your aim is just to maintain, you're in the wrong webinar because we're talking about how to promote your club and how to grow your club. But you need to have realistic numbers that you need to exceed replacing the turnover. That's why clubs need new members. Why do we as members want more members? Take some notes and tell us during the Q&A. Because we want new faces, because we want new ideas, because we want the enthusiasm and the magic of the new members and watching them blossom. That's the most fun. That's why we want new members, not just for the mechanics of we're going to get another ribbon, but because it's so much fun to bring them in and watch them grow. Why do we think prospective members might want to join Toastmasters? And why are prospective members actually interested? I'm going to go into a couple of quotes here. One is from our new area director in Division A, Area 15, David Dewar, who gave a talk about this the other day. He said, why promote Toastmasters? Toastmasters is the organization that teaches and promotes clear and effective communication. This is a valuable skill at all times of your life, and it's a skill desperately needed in times of crisis and disinformation. Absolutely true and correct. Doesn't quite hit the bullseye, though, of why anyone would want to come. It's more like why we as Toastmasters think people should want to come, but they don't know it. And marketing is all about letting them know it. Why else? Let's see. Toastmasters thinks There are many reasons to join Toastmasters. Practice public speaking, improve communication skills, develop leadership skills, get constructive feedback, build confidence, networking opportunities, and supporting others. Yes, of course. And yet, none of those are the top reasons why people actually join anything. No. According to studies, the reasons people go to events and join groups are social connection, sense of belonging. Anyone who was at the celebration Tuesday heard our district director say that she joined Toastmasters for community. And then our international president put that right in the top of her list also, that she joined Toastmasters for community, that sense of belonging. I know that all decisions are emotional. We just justify them with logic afterwards. One of the things that people are really seeking in this world is recognition, self-esteem, to feel valued, and to be recognized for our contributions. We want to learn and develop ourselves. Of course, we want skills. There may be compelling reasons why a person needs to get those skills, and they need to get them right now because they have to go present at that conference, or they have to lead that meeting, or they're getting promoted. We have those people in our club a lot. So those are reasons too. Personal growth, challenge yourself, step outside your comfort zone, grow as a human being, and then have shared interests and fun. Really, who doesn't want to have some fun? People don't believe that this can be fun. That's something that's hard to get across. And networking opportunities, sure. I told you they were top reasons. They're not the only reasons, of course. But remember what's at the top, that sense of community. Going to be where your friends are. Like Cheers, you want to go where everybody knows your name. Where you're going to be accepted as you are and encouraged and nurtured and supported to grow, of course. That's why prospective members might be interested. That's why most of our marketing doesn't work, because we target the secondary and tertiary reasons, good reasons to join, to why you should join Toastmasters, because I think you should, not what people are seeking, particularly after the pandemic. They want that sense of community. They want relationships. They want to make friends. They want to learn how to talk to other people in person or online. All those things are very, very important. Now, that's the W's, right? The Y's. It's time to pause for some interaction with you. Does anyone want to share why they came to Toastmasters initially? Yes, please unmute. Albert.
I'm going to be brutally honest, but in a good way. I've always loved talking and speaking and public speaking, so I didn't join to develop those skills. I joined because I love using those skills, and I was working in a corporate environment, and then I learned that for an hour every week, I didn't have to do my job. I could take an hour off, get paid, but interact with other people in my company that I don't normally work with. So really, it wasn't that it was a great way to meet more people in the company and to network and to feel and to do something I really, really enjoyed doing, which my job unfortunately didn't cover that well. And the fact that the company was willing to allow me to use my skills to help other people in my company in Toastmasters. That was the impetus for me. After one meeting and the recognition and people complimenting me on my off-the-cuff speech, that was it. I was theirs. They had me.
Thank you. I'm glad we have you. Someone else.
Do you see me?
Yes, please.
I have a hard time reflecting back as to why I joined because it almost seemed like I was asked. I didn't really know what I wanted or expected, but it seemed like a good idea. And I knew that I wanted to advocate for myself, but I really didn't do it well and had to figure out the right words because I was already outspoken. And to circle back around to some of the things you pointed out, what I found was community. I didn't know I was joining for that, but I found that I met a lot of people outside of my work group that gave me more insight into what was going on at work and helped me understand better what was going on at work. Not so much now because we are virtual. We get a little bit of it and we don't have a lot of chance to chit chat anymore, but it's still a community. And I didn't know that's what I was looking for. So
Thank you, Marcia.
it wasn't the reason I joined, but it was a result.
And it is one of the reasons you stay.
Yes.
Yes, we wouldn't probably have to get so many new members if we could keep renewing our existing members. Community, 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 friendship, and fun. One more, Sherry.
For me, I joined mainly because I struggled with the impromptu speaking.
Mhm.
And I knew about Toastmasters for a while before I joined. It wasn't the right time in my life at that time, but I received an email like Albert through work. And that allowed me to attend Toastmasters during the daytime, and it didn't take away from my family and my kids. But it was all about the impromptu speaking. But you're right, it was the community. The community is something that wasn't expected. And looking back, it's exactly why we stay.
Thank you. It's a big, big difference. Like Albert, I say I was probably born talking. And yet, when I joined Toastmasters, I was a young mother, I had been married, had 2 children, got divorced. I still didn't feel like an adult among adults. I was awkward. I needed to learn how to listen better. That was important to me, and how to just feel like an adult among adults. I guess I got what I needed. I'm not sure I'm a grown up yet, but I can fake it pretty well. And it's community. No matter where I've gone, there's a Toastmasters club that I could go to morning, noon, or night, weekday or weekend. It would always be people who were like me in the right way, people who wanted to improve themselves and to help other people. In human resources, there are some aphorisms, they're called, that people want to hire someone JLU, just like us, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what the criteria are. In Toastmasters, we don't want to just recruit people who look like us or sound like us, but we do want to attract people who have similar values of honesty, integrity, and service, who want to improve themselves and to help other people. It doesn't matter what we look like or what we do for a job or where we came from. That's who we are. That's who we need to attract. Who are our prospects by demographics? Well, you could say everybody is our prospect. However, different age groups are going to want to come for different reasons. At one stage, people are trying to start their careers. They need to learn how to go for interviews. How many times do you see a Toastmasters news release or a Toastmasters event featuring interviewing skills? Do we want young people? What are young people doing in their lives? They're trying to find relationships. Of course, that's the most important thing. If you want boys to come, show pictures of girls, and the other way around. Talk about those. They're interviewing for college. They're interviewing for jobs. They're interviewing for practicing, defending their thesis. Graduate students come through our club quite a lot because we're across the street from a college. We know they're not going to stay forever. We know they have that hard deadline and they have that specific goal. We love them. We love them. We treasure them, and they're our children forever after because they get the skills they need to stand up there and be confident and speak to that degree and defend that thesis. We just love that. Then we have the people who are in a career, are being pushed to become leaders. One of the members in our club got promoted to vice president. He came to our club because he had always been a distribution manager. They saw potential in him and he didn't have all the skills. And they said, go to Toastmasters. Well, he's our sergeant at arms now. He's very organized. Love that. He plans ahead. Loves that. He comes in prepared. And he's got his schedule organized for a very long time in advance because he has this important job and a family, and he volunteers with Special Olympics. He's very active, and he loves to go hiking. So obviously, this is a person who has prioritized Toastmasters because he shows up. He has to be organized to be able to do all these things. This is who we want to attract to Toastmasters in that age group, people who are going to the next level, who now are being asked to give a presentation about the results of their work, or to run their department meeting, or to get up and speak at the annual convention because they have accomplished something and they might be terrified. They come, that age group, that consolidating, building your career, that age group. We like them too. We also like older people. They have the best stories. They have the best jokes. Their experience often bring to the club organizational skills and connections to other nonprofits and educational institutions. They can share their experiences that help the younger members. They make good mentors and good evaluators. They're enjoying community, being social, having a new audience for all their old jokes, learning new words because we have our word of the day, and learning new jokes, having some fun, and really getting out of the house and meeting new people. These different demographics need different appeals in your marketing plan. So let's talk about social media a little bit. On our District 45 website, on the resources page, there's a whole page with tips about how to schedule social media releases in advance and links to Toastmasters International brand manual, which is very important. Don't make up your own color scheme, please. Templates for the news releases, for announcements, for certificates, for just about everything that you can imagine. You don't have to start from scratch. It's terrific. But you do need to understand who is using social media and what they're using it for. This is where my source material is going to be very helpful to anybody who wants to read all this. You might think that nobody reads newspapers anymore, but that is not true. And certain social media platforms will try to tell you that nobody's on Facebook anymore, but that's not true. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat, YouTube, WhatsApp, even Reddit and TikTok, and Be Real, all have audiences that are our target demographics. Yes, I will share all these studies with you for the amounts, the numbers of people. The Facebook, ages 18 to 29, 67% of them still use Facebook. 75% of the 30 to 49-year-olds, 69% of the 50 to 64-year-olds, and 58% of the 65 plus. So I'm not going to get into the gender and all that. To me, Facebook is the easiest thing. We take a picture at our meeting, put it on Instagram. Our Instagram sends it directly to our page on Facebook, showing who won what and who was featured at the meeting and a little blurb about that. Then that feeds into a news release, which can go out to all the newspapers and magazines, most of which do print them. It's important to know that even though paper is not the dominant form right now, some of us still read our local papers because none of our local news is going to be on the international media unless something horrible happens, and we don't want to see that. That's why my friend and neighbor said, "You are so famous," because they look at the local paper. Most of the local papers also have websites. If they print it in the print paper, they're putting it on their website also. Who are you trying to attract? You're trying to attract people who want to improve themselves and to help other people. When was the last time you were in the newspaper? I can tell you the people in our club are in it all the time because every meeting we send out those pictures. And that's fun. It should make doing news releases easy because you want to have a story, you have a picture. And here's my big tip of the day. Nobody wants to see feet. Okay? Pictures from the waist up, holding up your ribbons, right? And you can crop the picture to be a nice shape and cut out those extra elbows and things before you send it. Once the editors in the various newspapers and magazines recognize your name, you've started to establish a relationship, they will put it in there. You will get good coverage and they will print as much as you write. So don't abuse it. In every single news release, you want those W's, right? Who, what, where, when, why. How can we connect with you? How can you learn more? You always have to have that action at the end, the call to action. Ask for the sale. Every single one of these from the Toastmasters template has a little blurb at the bottom about what Toastmasters is. All of our news releases have the important stuff, the pictures and the people's names, a little educational note about what some of the activities are. So you might be featuring table topics in one, saying table topics is an exercise that, right? Or another time evaluation. Then about our club, where we meet and what we do, and then about Toastmasters. This should not take up much more than a page, except when it's a big event. And then you're putting in more pictures and telling more about it. So we've had full page spreads. Yes, local papers. We have so many of them in our area. Always put the name of the town where the member lives, because the editors of the papers in those towns will absolutely print your material because someone from their community is one of the people being featured. They're content. They don't pay reporters anymore. They have stringers. They might get $25 a story if their story gets published. Where is their content coming from? Toastmasters is media gold. Absolutely. I'm getting a little bit into the how to do things, and that's okay. Any questions right now?
There's one question in the chat. Sheila, Sherry's asking if these are small community newspapers.
Yes, many of them are, but we also will be published in the Union Leader or the Concord Monitor, or I have to say, getting an accurate list of the contacts at the various media is an ongoing process because people come and go. Happily, some of our best editors are kind of embedded for life. They're not going anywhere. So they will put it in all of their publications. That's nice. You can get things into Yankee Magazine if you do it in advance. You can get it into New Hampshire Magazine. You can get it into the New Hampshire Business Review, the Business New Hampshire paper. You can get into those things. It's a little bit more work. Let's talk about community calendars for just a minute. Almost every paper and every newspaper's website, online source, has a community calendar that you have to get a membership in, and you have to enter the event. When you are creating an event, like an open house, your club anniversary, a contest, it is worth your effort to put it in there. For your local papers, they have an ongoing weekly calendar. It doesn't have to change from week to week. You can just put it in there and let it ride as long as the contact person is still in the club. So definitely nominate a lifer to be the contact person. Then it doesn't matter what job they have, whether I am doing publicity or membership or education or secretary, I can still be the contact person because I'm still a member of the club. Nobody cares what my role is. That is such a missed opportunity to have that in there. And then when it's a special event, just go to town on it. Send out an announcement that there's going to be the event. Then a couple of weeks before, send a reminder with who's being featured, what the activities are going to be. Then at the event, take lots and lots of pictures and pick the best 3 or so pictures. And immediately the next day, send out a news release about what a great event it was and who did what. And then a couple of days later, send out a notice about your next meeting. If you can keep a continuous flow going, you're keeping yourself in the public mind. It takes 5 to 7 touches to have someone recognize your name. I would like to hope every club has a Facebook page, an Instagram account. I would love to say a YouTube channel, but I am okay with it being the District 45 channel and contributing to that. Because if every club contributed to the District 45 channel, there would be a lot of material and it would get a lot of attention. Excuse me. So that would be just a terrific thing to do. Coming back, I saw a question fly by. Will you help me with that?
Yes, one more question. Why is it important to cut out feet in photos?
That struck me because the international directors photos shows all their footwear. But of course, they were dressed nice for the Anaheim convention. Is it
Yes.
because people wear Crocs or what? It's interesting you say that because I worked with somebody who interviewed somebody who came in with Crocs to an interview and they immediately like, no. So I'm interested in your thought on that. Why is it important to cut the feet off?
It's not, Albert. It's
Okay.
important. It's important to feature their faces and what they're doing.
Gotcha.
If you stand far enough back to show everybody's feet, then
You don't see anything.
you can't really recognize faces.
Right.
You really also, here's a photography tip. You don't want to have hands hanging down out of the picture. Whether it's wedding pictures or Toastmasters pictures, they should be doing something with their hands. In our case, where they've just won a ribbon or they're shaking somebody's hand, then they're up here,
Got
not
it.
down there.
Understood.
Nobody cares about anything below the waist. But if your hands aren't in the picture, you're incomplete. It psychologically, this comes from photographers, it's as though you lack confidence. So you want to have your hands, just like we want to be gesturing when we're talking to people, you want to be in the window. Did that answer your question?
It did.
Was there another question or comment? No?
No.
Okay, I know. Good. All right. Here's some when questions. When should we schedule events? I'm looking at an 18-month calendar. Always. It's my habit since I used to run conventions. So you're looking at that cycle there. I know, and this may come as a big surprise to some people, Christmas comes every year. This should not be a surprise. Also, I know that every year we have dues deadlines and contests and membership drives. You could schedule this out years in advance because it's all going to be approximately the same dates, not the exact day, but we know that when the district conference is, you have to back out the division contests, back up to the area, back up to the clubs. When do you have time to do those things? And space them out so your winners have enough time to practice before the next level. So we know that in advance. We can schedule that in advance. We can make an annual calendar for our club. So when do you have time to do an open house? When do you have time to do your club anniversary open house or your celebration of the 100 years of Toastmasters? It's important to get these things in there and to look at what else is going on in the world, because you're just not going to do those things the week of Thanksgiving. It really comes down to a few prime times when you can do those events. That means that you have plenty of time in advance to get keynote speakers, to plan out the event, to have a theme, and to get all of your publicity ready in advance. Have those templates that you work with for all your news releases. All you fill in is the specific W's, right? And all the rest of them are part of the framework. So it's not that much work the day after a meeting to just change the details of who said what and put in whatever your feature is. You can take your Toastmasters tip and get them all reeled out, just like a great big roll of toilet paper over the whole year. So each month or each every other week, whatever your meeting schedule is, that you've got that tip all lined up and you don't have to do all that much work in the moment. And that system, once you get it systematic and it's a habit, all the publications will love you because they can count on you for that talk of the town kind of stuff. They like that. And you're looking at where you can promote your club. Well, we've talked a little bit about newspapers and magazines, online directories, event calendars, social media platforms. Don't forget laundromats. Laundromats are the poster child for somebody sitting around, desperate for something to read, looking at what's going on in the community, and wishing they had something to do, wishing they knew someone to talk to. But I'm using that just as the poster child of local places. I have a friend who goes everywhere, and when I want something, a flyer to go out, I ask her to just drop one wherever she goes. Oh yeah, the gas station, quick food places, every place that has a community bulletin board. Why not? It's a piece of paper. We can afford that. Make sure you use the Toastmasters template or use the Toastmasters flyer and the brand manual. It's very important that we be consistent in our look. What about doctor's offices? What about all those places where people are sitting around in waiting rooms and they're bored? It sounds old-fashioned, but that's where we get stuff. We get members. All these things I'm telling you, our club gets members from. Always have a Toastmasters business card in your pocket. You can get a Toastmasters business card that only has your club information and your club website on it. So no one individual has to be responsible for it. Or you can get the kind that has my name, my Toastmasters email, and if I want to give it, my phone number that I can carry around, has my name and number on it and my club information. So either one, we just got a big box of the ones that were just the business card about our club. Everybody just, have that in your pocket or your purse or whatever. When you start talking to somebody, then you can give them the card and write on the back of it when the next meeting is. We have brochures, club brochures that you can take around. All these things do work. They don't work every single time. It's not continuous, but many streams of feeding into your club is what does it. And always ask. Always make the ask. When you are talking to somebody and they say, "What's new?" do you say, "I gave a speech at Toastmasters the other night, and I never used to think I could be funny, but they laughed at my joke or that incident, that story I told. I'm so glad that someone wanted to hear about what my cat did to my dog." I mean, Toastmaster speeches can be about anything, right? I don't see where we could ever not have something to talk about from all of the things that we hear and learn at Toastmasters. Even if somebody says, you know, what's new with you? It's like, I learned a word of the day the other day at Toastmasters. I never knew that. And then you can talk about language and grammar and what's a word of the day? Why do you do that? What's Toastmasters anyway? Do the ask. Always do the ask. Say, come, you know, it's free. Be a visitor. You can just sit and listen. You don't have to do anything. You might hear some funny stories. Why not? Where can we offer community service? To me, this is very important. I am a huge promoter of youth leadership programs, not because those 15 to 18-year-olds are going to become members in a couple of years, but that the Toastmasters principles and techniques change lives and save lives. That's why I volunteer in a prison. Do you know that people who participate in Toastmasters in prison, the recidivism rate goes from 80% to 20%? Look it up. It's astonishing. And with teenagers, people who learn to speak out don't need to act out. They can communicate their feelings instead of just being frustrated and exploding. What's the value of that program? Speechcraft is a wonderful program. And Speechcraft builds clubs. Because if you've conducted a Speechcraft program with people, in that 6 to 8 weeks, they're hooked on Toastmasters. They're going to come to your club. And if not my club, to your club, and I'll see them at a meeting. Those community service programs and the Gavel clubs, they are so valuable to the community. I think it's not just our obligation, but it's our privilege to do them. Because Ralph Smedley did not establish Toastmasters to be a mutual admiration society where people sit around and talk to each other. It's supposed to be a springboard to community action. To do as some of our members stood up in front of that planning board, got that regulation changed, and the captain from the, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the movie, with the big storm and everything. Well, he was a member of our Toastmasters Club, the real captain. And
The Perfect Storm?
That one. Thank you.
The one that George Clooney played.
Yes. He's not
He
that
passed
tall.
in that, yes?
He's not, no.
Oh, he survived it.
Yeah, the original captain. Well, he was a member of our club because he wanted to be able to preach. He didn't stick around very long because he had a lot of confidence in a message, but he wanted the techniques, right? So he's going on and changing lives too. All these things are why Toastmasters is of value. But coming right back to the beginning, we're going to say, why would anyone even want to know what Toastmasters is? Why Toastmasters? Why your club? Because they're looking for a home. They're looking for a community. They're looking for friends. They're looking for a place where everybody knows their name and accepts them just as they are trying to improve themselves and help other people. Any questions or comments before we close? Then back to Jenny.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Let's give Sheila a big jazz hands, a round of applause. That was excellent. I know you said don't take notes because you're going to share, but I couldn't help it. I was writing lots of things down myself. So thank you so much. That was, I definitely learned a lot, and I really love the idea of community, and it's got my mind thinking of lots of ideas. So truly appreciate that. I'm going to stop the recording here.